Today we will talk about remove the CPU. We dismantled the CPU with a low temperature. 3804505000, these are all okay. A qualified maintenance master. Understand the first principles of chip removal. No matter what area is used, the temperature in the range can safely disassemble and install the CPU. For example, you are currently using more than 300 degrees. Disassemble the CPU. There are always drop points. Or damage the CPU. It dropped when dismantling the CPU, okay? You learn from others with high temperature. Also opened to 485, still dropped a point. Even drove to 500. Disassemble the CPU, but it still dropped point. And there's a reason for that. As long as we find the reason, we won't have this problem in the future. Whether we use 400 degrees, 500 degrees, 385 degrees, all are available within the safe range. Remove the CPU. First we need to know what is the reason for the drop point. Then the problem of dropping points can be solved. This is the main board of a PCB. Imagine that this is a CPU. And now look carefully at the CPU upside down. Tin pulp on top. It's 199. This is the main board. This is equivalent to the CPU in reverse. Then focus. Look carefully. When the wind gun blows here, only the outer solder paste begins to melt. The tin slurry inside does not melt. Look carefully. I prefer the air gun inside. A row of solder paste on the periphery melts. The tin slurry inside does not melt. Turn it in another direction. Continue with the operation just now. The ending is the same. Get a little closer inside. It is still the peripheral one that melts first, and the internal one does not melt. Internal melting conditions. You need this PCB. The temperature below should also rise, so that it will melt faster. Here we go. What it needs. It will take longer to melt. Okay, it's all melted. And then, after we understand this, next, we can find out why it is always damaged when removing the CPU and removing the eMMC. When the chip is on the main board, if we can heat it evenly, pick it up at once, then no problem at all. If you are worried that it will be demolished, take it apart slowly. That's when the risk is greatest. When dismantling half and half, when the outer half is suspended. Air gun if you are still blowing in this area. So this place is now suspended. Already lifted up. This time, there is no need to heat this side. The air gun needs to jump into this area to heat up. In this way, there will be no damage, whether it is dismantling eMMC or Apple's CPU, etc. No problem. Let's do it now. Actual dismantling of an A16 CPU. Take a look. Air gun and pry knife cooperate. Bring up the screen above. It's more coordinated when you look at it this way. Synchronization can also be seen above. This is mainly based on the coordinated action of my air gun and the action of lifting the CPU below. We can do this in many different ways. Lift the CPU at once. Quick lift. Then our hands. The shaking speed is faster. That's all. It has to shake like this. To to lift it up all at once. If we lift this side first, then let's lift this side first. Lift this side again. Let's take a look at how the air gun works. Can it be fixed? Can be fixed. The blade can already go in this area up ahead. The air gun will be withdrawn to the back. Move fast enough. When the knife goes in this place, we don't need to reheat it. We're just going to jump to the back. Then remove the CPU. It can't be dropped. Point. eMMC. Same principle. For example, Oppo Vivo's glue is particularly hard when you can't lift it up at one time. How do we do this? We want to see. The main thing is to look at the shot above. At this time, it is tilted up little by little. Then take a closer look at the air gun above. Now heat up the eMMC. Pry up. This time, when it is pried up here, air gun can no longer be blown in this area. eMMC will be damaged because it can withstand very high temperatures. We should be blowing now. Is this place? Be sure to put the air gun. Retreat to this area, then lift it directly. This will prevent damage. As long as you are up halfway, the air gun will be withdrawn soon. Make up the temperature, make up the back, and make up the rest. Make up for it here. This place. It will suddenly rise to a very high temperature. It will directly cause eMMC damage. Take another one. Huawei HiSilicon CPU. The same. If you dismantle it at one time, shake fast. That is, we want to change. After heating the entire CPU evenly, lift it up all at once. Any method is possible. At this time, we use this method of quick dismantling at once, as long as the air gun turns fast enough. When taking it off, remove the air gun in an instant. It won't break either. Take another look under the microscope. These two techniques are completely different. CPU is by shaking the air gun. Under the CPU, after all the tin melts, removed at one time, there will be no falling points and paint peeling. eMMC, half of it first, and then half of it. But you can see it on the eMMC. The tin is taken off when it is not melted. So when dismantling the CPU and eMMC, whether it is damaged or not depends. How much heat did we use? It depends. When we should heat which area? To know clearly. For example, at the beginning, it's the same as the one I showed you. When the CPU is tilted up like this, warped area, can't heat it up anymore. Be sure to warm up at the tail. Like this. Will not lead to CPU and eMMC appear high temperature. It will not cause the chip to drop. This lesson. We're done here. Goodbye.